Once upon a time, there stood an old castle in the middle of a vast forest filled with dark, tangled trees. In that castle lived an old fairy. She could take any shape she wished. During the day, she would sometimes fly about as an owl, and at other times, she would wander silently like a cat. At night, she would always turn back into an old woman. Any young man who came within 100 paces of the castle would become frozen to the spot. He would be unable to walk or even move until the fairy came and released him. She would only set him free if he promised never to come near the castle again. But if a beautiful young maiden came near the castle, the fairy would turn her into a bird. Then she would place her inside a golden cage and hang the cage in one of the castle's rooms. There were 700 cages in the castle, and each one held a beautiful bird. Now there once lived a girl named Jorinda. She was more beautiful than any other girl in the world. A young shepherd named Jorindel loved her dearly, and the two were planning to marry soon. One day, they went for a walk in the forest so they could be alone together. "We must be careful not to go too close to the fairy's castle," Jorindel said. It was a lovely evening. The last rays of the setting sun streamed through the tall trees and lit up the green bushes below. Turtle doves cooed from the tops of the birch trees. Jorinda sat down to watch the sunset, and Jorindel sat beside her. After a while, both of them were overcome by a deep sadness, though neither knew why. It felt as though they were about to be separated forever. They had wandered so far that they had lost their way home. No matter how hard they tried, they could not remember which path they had taken. The sun had almost disappeared below the horizon when Jorindel suddenly looked behind him. Through the bushes, he caught sight of the old castle walls. Without realizing it, they had come right up to the castle. Jorindel turned pale with fear. At that very moment, Jorinda was singing, "A turtle dove sang from a willow tree. Alas, alas, what sorrow to see, mourning the loss of her faithful mate. Alas, alas, what a tragic fate." Suddenly, her song stopped. Jorindel turned around and saw that Jorinda had been transformed into a nightingale. Her beautiful voice had become the sorrowful song of a bird. An owl, with eyes glowing like fire, flew around them 3 times and cried out 3 times, "Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo!" Jorindel became frozen like stone. He could neither speak nor cry. He could not move his hands or his feet. The sun disappeared completely. Darkness fell. The owl landed in a bush. A moment later, the old fairy appeared. She was pale and thin, with huge, staring eyes. Her nose and chin almost touched. The fairy muttered strange words to herself. Then she seized the nightingale and carried it away in her hand. Poor Jorindel could only watch as his beloved was taken away. There was nothing he could do. After a while, the fairy returned and spoke in a harsh, crackling voice. "The prisoner now is bound, her fate forever sealed. Stay where you are. When magic wraps around her and the spell has claimed her, away with you, be gone." The moment the words ended, Jorindel was able to move again. He immediately fell to his knees and begged the fairy. "Please give my beloved Jorinda back to me," he pleaded. The fairy burst into laughter. "You shall never see her again," she said, and disappeared. For many days, Jorindel wept begged and grieved, but nothing changed. He could not return home. Instead, he went to another village and found work as a shepherd. Again and again, he returned to the area around the castle, but he could neither see Jorinda nor hear her voice. One night he had a strange dream. In the dream, he found a beautiful purple flower. In the very centre of the flower rested a large dewdrop, shining like a precious pearl. In the dream, he picked the flower and carried it to the castle. Everything he touched with it was freed from enchantment. Then he was reunited with Jorinda. When he awoke the next morning, he wasted no time and began searching for the flower. For 8 days he wandered through hills, forests and valleys, but he could not find it. On the morning of the 9th day, he finally discovered the purple flower. Just as in the dream, a brilliant dewdrop rested in its centre, glowing like a large pearl. He carefully picked the flower and travelled day and night until he reached the castle once more. He walked closer than 100 paces. This time, he did not turn to stone. Without fear, he walked all the way to the castle gate. With great excitement, he touched the door with the flower. The door swung open by itself. Jorindel stepped inside. From every corner of the castle came the songs of hundreds of birds. At last, he found the great chamber where the fairy sat. 700 birds sang from 700 cages. When the fairy saw Jorindel, she screamed with rage. Yet, because of the magical flower in his hand, she could not come within 2 paces of him. Jorindel looked at the cages, but there were so many nightingales that he could not tell which one was Jorinda. Just then, the fairy grabbed one of the cages and tried to flee. Jorindel immediately ran after her. The moment he touched the cage with the purple flower, the cage sprang open. Standing before him was Jorinda, restored to her former beauty. With joy, she threw her arms around Jorindel's neck. Then Jorindel went from cage to cage, touching each one with the flower. All the birds returned to their human forms. Afterward, he took Jorinda home. The two were married and lived happily together for many years. The other young maidens who had been trapped in the fairies' cages far longer than they wished were reunited with their loved ones as well, and they too lived happily ever after.